96599.
Now's the best time to lock in early order savings on a new John Deere planter from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Plant for success with the latest technology, including Exact Emerge high-speed planters that help you cover more acres with greater precision and productivity. Order your planter for next year now to unlock the biggest savings of the season. Contact your local Landmark location today and experience the Landmark difference.
Play ball!
Haymarket Park is buzzing with excitement this summer. Grab your crew and get in on the fun. Be sure to catch all the daily specials and promotions this season, like Thirsty Thursday, Fireworks Friday, Souvenir Saturday, Family Fun Day Sunday, plus special events and discounts all summer long. Don't miss out on the action as the Lincoln Salt Dogs take on their biggest rivals and knock the ball out of the park. Visit saltdogs.com and see this week's promotions and grab your tickets.
Make plans to join 93.7 The Ticket and the Amon Green Foundation for the first annual Nebraska Esports Golf Tournament on Monday, June 9th at Wilderness Ridge. It's a four-man scramble starting at 11 a.m. that will feature former Husker greats like Amon Green, Johnny Rogers, Niles Paul, Tony Davis, Adam Carricker, Vershawn Jackson, and more, with great prizes and great golf. Sponsorships are also available. Call or text us at 402-464-5685 with questions, or sign your team up online at theticketfm.com. Registration goes through May 30th.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. See mostly sunny skies with a light breeze. Afternoon high near 69. Tonight, mainly clear skies with light winds, low around 44. And tomorrow, a chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, mainly cloudy and breezy with the high around 66. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clester for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Welcome in to We Talk Facts with 9-year NBA veteran and Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland and two-time Nebraska Football National Champion Clester Johnson. Talking and taking names in sports and day-to-day living. Sit back, relax, and join the show with 9-year NBA vet and Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland and two-time Nebraska Football National Champion Clester Johnson.
Welcome to WTF We Talk Facts. Joining in on another Thirsty Thursday. We're excited to be here. Clester Johnson is flying over the Atlantic Ocean right about now, coming out of Spain. He was out there doing this, I don't know what they call it, the samba or whatever, the thing.
I don't know what you're
I don't know what
they're
doing, but he out there was out in Barcelona doing it big, but he'll be back with us next week. Samaki Walker is, we're waiting on him to join us, but that's okay because you know what? On a Thirsty Thursday, Harrison and I can make it twerk. There's some great news, some good things out there to talk about. We'll talk a little bit of NBA. Wonderful history was made. Mm-hmm. There was it was kind of like a Matrix moment, a deja vu, one of those type of situations that really happened a long time ago. It was kind of one of those things that happened with the Indiana Pacer game. The Western Conference Finals is jumping off to a great start there, as well as the Eastern Conference Finals. Very interesting. So we'll talk about some of the things, some of the topics there as well. We'll talk a little bit. The Diddy trial has begun. It is popped off. There's been some doubts, and then there's been some concerns, and there's been some issues and things have been popping up. Kid Cudi's popped off right now. Yeah.
When you follow that stuff, like, do you ever just get sick to your stomach? After a certain point of like just trying to follow all the loose threads, and it just feels like Just feels like a lot of gross stuff and like a bunch of lies, like all wrapped up in that. You know, I don't know who's all guilty in it, but I just get so disgruntled after trying to dig through that stuff for so long.
Yeah, man, it's heavy. It's a heavy thing at times, but it's part of culture.
Yeah,
and you know, I think there's sometimes we can operate in the dark, meaning we can be so oblivious to things that are going on around us and behind closed doors and in hidden corners and things like that. And it's kind of one of those things where I don't necessarily want to know everything and all the but it you know, just give me
it's
the high level to be aware of what's going on. Because also that, like you said, there are times where, you know, it makes you say, you have to question, dang, is it really that bad?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of throws a wrench in your whole just perspective of life and
like
heart and
Epstein
good
cases, you
right?
know? It's like every other day, it's like, oh, they're gonna release them, and then at the end of the day, it never gets released. And then it just gets to a point, it's like, who doesn't want this? You know, it's just released already. Like everybody, but you know, you get to the top and you're back to the question. It's like, okay, clearly there's a group of people who don't want it out there.
Well, and then also you deal with cycles, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
Cycles, interests. I think sometimes when you have heinous types of situations in life and in the world, you kind of get lost in the cycles of different news, and then sometimes you'll see something more interesting or another shining object pop up, and then you'll kind of turn your focus over here. And sometimes news is designed to kind of throw curveballs off. So sometimes they'll release it on a Friday, or they'll release information or hardened information on a Friday, knowing that the weekend is coming. Like there will probably be some most damaging things that'll happen on a weekend, like a Memorial Day weekend, where you'll start thinking about other things and you'll kind of miss. Sometimes when
they fire a big time coach, you'll notice it'll be like the day after a holiday, or it'll be like on a day where everyone's leaving for the weekend, so everyone's not going to be around for it. You do see that. And also they'll just take stuff out of context. Matt Rule is the biggest example of that. On 3, courtesy of, I can't remember the last name. Ari was the guy who wrote the article about Matt Rule saying 40 teams in the college football playoffs. It's like, clearly you're taking that out of context. Like, you know what you're doing here.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, let's get started tuning in right here every Thursday, 6 to 7 on 93.7 The Ticket, X, YouTube, and Allo, Channel 961 as well. And we're also live and in color straight out of the radio station while you're driving your car. You can also listen there as well. You can also chime in on stream if you want to get involved into the conversation, and we appreciate that as well. Also, merch is available. You can DM me, Strick. I'm sorry. You can hit me on any of my social media platforms, Strick20 on X, Strick2020 on Instagram, or you can hit me also at the ticket at Strickland at theticketfm.com. So those are the places if you do want to get the merch, 20 for 1 and 45 for 2. And we'll get that out to you as well. We have multiple ones. And I know that they're getting the pictures put together that will be put up on the ticketfm.com website soon. So you'll be able to see that, and we'll also start posting it. So let's get to it. Pacers come up with a big win. We'll start with them on the Eastern Coast, the Eastern Conference Finals. The Pacers come up with a really big win in overtime. It looked very dismal for them, as if they were going to lose game 1. It looked like the Knicks had it in the bag. But then you have to rewind back the time, go back to Reggie Miller when he went buck wild in like the final 18 seconds and just caught fire. And he threw up something that was iconic, which was the choke symbol. And you saw Haliburton do the same thing upon the win. Well, actually, upon the big shot. Now, the shot was crazy in itself, right? You have to wonder, how does a shot hit the back, go straight? It looked like the old Kawhi Leonard.
I was going to say, which one's the crazier buzzer beater? The Kawhi Leonard, bounce around the rim 100 times, or just like the straight up moonshot off the back iron?
Wow.
Right back
so
down.
crazy.
And it wasn't even, Haliburton, you tip your cap for the hat, but Aaron Nesmith.
going buck wild.
He was the Reggie Miller in
Yeah.
that one. He hit 6. He was 6 of 7 in the fourth quarter alone.
Yeah.
From 3-point line. Nesmith was just going off. So like, yeah, Haliburton got to do the iconic. But Nesmith was really the Reggie Miller in that game. He was phenomenal in that one. I will say though, I know the Pacers won it. A little concerning defensively for the Pacers. You did see some moments in there, like they came back with some insane shooting, but if you're the Knicks, I'm really not sweating it too much. I think that's a pretty resilient group, and you did more things right than the Pacers. Pacers just got red hot from 3 and hit some crazy shots at the end there.
Well, so what we have here is definitely an unbelievable comeback. 14 points down under 2 minutes. And, I think there's a stat that's crazy to discuss as well. And then we'll get into some of the details of the game. But teams that have been, the teams that have been down 7 points, 7+ points with 50 seconds left, the record is now 4 and 1,002. No, I'm sorry, 1,702. 4 and 1,702 with teams 7+ points with 50 seconds left. That's what the record is. So here's the unbelievable stat. The Pacers have 3 of the 4.
But the Reggie Miller one.
And then the 2 in this play, and then the others in this playoffs, which is crazy. So I think there's some interesting topics to discuss about that too. When you look at these playoff teams, I think you look at both sides, right? So let's just start with the West. You look at the West. And what you find with the OKC Thunder, you find a very deep team, physical, and defend their tails off. And they run like crazy. So they're going to turn you over. They're going to get easy opportunities. They're going to make you hit tough shots, and they're going to get good shots. Hence, you saw Minnesota settle 51 threes.
Yeah, I think
only shoot 29%.
Well, they 15? Yeah, that'd be about 29% right there. So
right,
just
crazy.
Shooting.
They shot half the threes, so they were very efficient. So that's what you're going to see on that side of things. Tremendous defense, get after you, but be very efficient offensively, but they're deep. So they can run differently. So even if you make adjustments, they can throw an adjustment, not just with the play, changes of defensive style. They can throw other players into the mix that have a different set. Caruso has been very effective in a lot of this as well. He's been
Caruso
huge.
Are just a nightmare duo together. Those guys. And you heard Anthony Edwards talk about it as well. That OKC defense, he says it's almost like an AAU where it's like they're constantly just throwing different things at you because they just got a lot of bodies. It's like when you're playing the Thunder, kind of paraphrasing what he's saying, it does feel like you're playing a little bit of an AAU team. It's like a bunch of young guys. They're up and down the court. They got a bunch of different styles they can throw at you. And it just takes a while to just like, even in the last game, you can see it. They're switching up their defense constantly on whether they want to jump Edwards at times, whether they just go under and they're going to let him shoot. It's like they're constantly.
Yeah, they're throwing different looks at him. They're not giving him right. And and he looks hesitant. It's like they're attacking the dribble. They're not allowing him space. They're crowding, getting off. They're not showing him anything specific to make him to be able to get into a rhythm, a comfort.
There's no consistency on how they guard him. And I think that's been like, I don't know, Strick, I'll ask you that. Like, that's probably got to be the worst defender that you could face is probably a defender who's just inconsistent on how he even defends you.
Yeah.
You just don't know what to expect.
Well, and that's what makes you good. I mean, I think guys like Marcus Smart and guys like Drew Holiday, one of the things that they figured out was how to attack dribble rhythms. So that like KD, they'll study rhythms of your dribble, height of your dribble. So what they'll try to do is they'll time, and they'll catch you in an off rhythm of the dribble to throw you off, or they'll tack in a certain way or a different way, or they'll high jump when they, know you're about to. But there's great communication also from both sides. That's what you're seeing on the West. So Samaki's going to join us in 5. The time difference, he's in LA. I think with 5 o'clock he kind of got threw off. So it's all good. We'll get him. But this is great. The other side is very similar. You have a tight bench with the Minnesota Timberwolves, a deep bench, physical on both sides. Look at the other side. Same thing. Physical on both sides. Tight bench with Thibodeau. Very 6'7" at the most.
Yep, playing 40 minutes if needed.
Right? And depth, because the Pacers have taken on their name. They go at pace. They're going to run you. They're going to throw different guys in. It's going to be up and down. They're not going to give you much time to breathe. And I think what happened in that New York game, Harrison, was you had a situation where you get out, they were able to turn the pace and turn you up. And then once you get tired because you're on a short bench, it's not necessarily that you're out of shape. It's not necessarily that you're just, you're bent over and you can't breathe. It comes down to the mental.
Yeah, they needed to slow things down.
They just needed to slow things down.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on that side?
Yeah, I think they need to slow things down. But again, I'll go back to kind of when I started with at the beginning here is like, I think the Knicks will actually be all right. I'm high on the Pacers. Also, just a great time for Indiana. Like if you're a basketball fan, things are well right now with the Indiana Fever and then the Indiana Pacers both playing excellent throughout the year. But the Knicks to me feel like they were actually okay in that game. Like the ending, they got a little too sped up at times. They're letting the Pacers force them into an up-tempo style of play. But again, Aaron Nesmith, he's probably not going to go on next game hitting 6 or 7 from 3. You're maybe you'll get another crazy Haliburton finish. I think he's probably 5 for 6 on buzzer beaters in this playoff run alone this year. For me, the biggest thing with the Knicks is I think it's a tough, resilient group. If they can just stay healthy enough, I think they'll be able to ride out this series. I'm not too worried. Now, if the Pacers steal the second game on the road as well, now that's a whole nother story. But I do think the Knicks will bounce back and be able to take the second game at home, tie it up 1-1, and then they'll feel a lot better heading in to the Pacers on the road.
And like I said, when we get Samaki in here, we'll re-engage this conversation as well. Being that he's been in the playoffs, he's been deep, he's a champion as well. So, because I can tell you my perspective, game ones are game ones. Sometimes, like with Minnesota in that situation, you get blown out.
Mm-hmm.
And, the team just gets on one. They're feeling good about themselves. And it just happens. You look at the quick turnaround for OKC. And so they're in rhythm where, you were kind of just waiting an extra day or two. So, they can get out on you and get you. On the other side, the Knicks, like I said, they've had a lot of time off. Then you're because all that time off, you're thrust into a high intensity, high physical, high pace game. Your adrenaline and all those things take over early on, but then you get late and it's kind of like this little crash. It's similar to what they have in MMA where they call it adrenaline dumps.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could see a little bit, certainly with those guys. And so I think they got outscored in the third quarter as well. They lost that entire second half. The Pacers were increasingly getting better as that game went on, and the Knicks were the polar opposite in that one. And you could definitely feel the Pacers are just riding high on that adrenaline right now because, look, if you're the Pacers, that's 2 years in a row where last year you made it through and nobody wanted to give you any respect whatsoever because, the Knicks were going through their injuries. I can't remember who the other team they beat last year, but 2 teams in a row had some injury issues, and nobody really wanted to give the Pacers a whole lot of credit for their run. And, Haliburton gets the overrated player 2 years in a row. I think it's a little bit of revenge tour for the Pacers. So I still like the Knicks in the series, but I'm not going to be surprised if the confidence just keeps carrying this Pacers team. Because, I do believe they feel a little bit neglected 2 years in a row of just kind of just not being talked about at all. And then their star player, Haliburton, just for whatever reason, constantly getting dissed by the NBA players themselves.
Well, here's what I love about it. Here's what I love about what I'm seeing. I'm loving that a couple of these teams dealt with injury and unfortunately got knocked out.
Yeah.
So there's lessons that they learn. Be healthy late. so forth and so on. Another team was basically given a stamp as if they were lucky because of the injuries. Indiana. OKC, top team in the West again, or top tier team, 1 or 2, 3. They're top.
Yeah, one seed
top
overall.
team overall. Yeah, last year, and they lost, and they learned lessons, and I think they've benefited from those. Hence, Game 7 against one of your nemesis teams that was tough to beat. It was like they were focused and they were honed in. Same thing with Minnesota. I think there's a lot of lessons. I love that part of it. And one of the things that I'd like to see more of, and I talked about this a little bit on the block, is I think Adam Silver is missing an opportunity.
I think he's missed a few, but
of course. Definitely in this playoffs. Yeah. I think he's missed an opportunity. Why do I say that? I think he's missed the opportunity to really market these unbelievable situations like this, because you have the old guard phasing out by age. So you focus so heavily on the individual plays of Durant and Harden and Westbrook.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard.
And you've honed on those, but your top tier guys have been Steph, LeBron. You took advantage of that, those dynasty matchups and so forth and so on. And you never really adjusted. So it reminds me a lot of the Kmarts or the Blockbusters or what's the one? The red boxes. Now, red box still is okay, but Netflix is probably taking over them. You didn't really adjust for the changes that you've what the word I've used, brand complacent. You got complacent with the brand. You were so focused and honed in on what David Stern had done that you just wanted to keep it going and keep the ship rolling afloat. You haven't really done anything to really take advantage of what you have going in this NBA. And I thought that needed to be matchups, get back to the teams. Because when you had the Celtics, even though you knew Bird was the face, you still knew Dennis Johnson, you knew Chief, you knew McHale, you knew Ainge, you knew all the different guys that were associated with the team that made them who they were. Now you go to the matchups. You knew the matchup was going to be against Detroit, where you knew Zeke as the face, but then you had Vinny, the microwave. Then you had Dumars, and you had Lane Beer. Rodman. Like it was the team matchup, and I think you're missing that. And I think they should have been taking advantage of those type of signals and start reviving the marketing on those types of matchups.
So that's where I feel like Silver actually did the opposite. He got away from Stern too much. Like Silver's whole era has been the player movement. Like it's player first over everything, which, you can make an argument. There's certainly more wiggle room that needed to be made for players, but now it's like way too player heavy. And now as a result, I mean, that's what fans do today. They follow the players, not the teams. So it becomes hard to market these things when all anybody wants to talk about is Anthony Edwards versus Shea, not the Timberwolves versus the Thunder. So, I mean, it's a little bit of you kind of carve this route for yourself. When you want to make it a player-focused league and get away from some of what Stern was doing, he was a lot more pretty rigid on how he was with those guys and how those trades went about. So, yeah, I think I'll be honest. I have not been the biggest fan of Silver as the president. Like, I just think his whole tenure it's been okay, but since he's taken over, has the NBA lost or gained traction?
See, that's the thing. I think they have lost. I think they've lost.
Yeah. So then
I think they've lost.
Failed president.
And I'm gonna before we go to break, I'm gonna say this last thing. And if you think I'm crazy or I'm not, WTF. You know what I mean? That's who we are. We talk facts. Here's the thought. I really do believe when you look at the David Stern situation, I really believe that the NBA, when they went political, and Michael Jordan has said it a long time ago, he tried to give you the roadmap. He said, they tried to get him to go political back in the early parts, and he says, Republicans buy Jordans too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a business.
It's a business.
That's the part where you got to really be careful about what you decide to do. I'm not saying like you're right or wrong.
Right.
But there's going to be consequences to it.
That's a fact.
And that's where the NFL, even through the QB Neal situation that was going on forever, the NFL, they didn't stop it. They didn't say anything either, though. They just let it happen. And they didn't ever take a stance, is how the NFL went about it. And I think the NBA at times is, I'm not saying they're wrong to do it, but like that is what's going to happen. If you put yourself out there enough, like that's going to have some effects for sure.
No doubt. Well, we are here. We're going to take a quick break, and he's trying to get in, so we'll hopefully have Samaki on the other side. We'll talk a little bit about the Diddy trial, and we'll get his thoughts on the playoffs at this point as well. When we get back on the other side, WTF, we talk facts right here, 937 Ticket.
Make sure you tune in every Saturday from 11 to 12 for all things youth football with Tank Perry and Jim Sandman. Learn how the game of youth football has grown in and around the capital city with coaches, athletic directors, and league commissioners telling you all about it. It's all things youth football with Tank Perry and Jim Sandman every Saturday from 11 to noon right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's your girl Jordan from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. It's official. Wedding season is here. And we know that every detail counts. From bridal party gifts to the finishing touches for the bride and groom, discover our exclusive selection of watches and fine jewelry. Did you know we even offer in-house engraving? Celebrate your special day with a personal touch and a timeless gift they'll cherish forever. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
Need service on your home air conditioner? No matter what brand you have, just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Support Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach on Give to Lincoln Day. Your gift will be received by a portion of Lincoln Community Foundation's matching fund. Homelessness is a complex problem facing our community. By working together, we can find solutions. Your donation for Give to Lincoln Day moves us closer to ensuring that everyone in Lincoln has a safe place to sleep at night. Because of your generosity, hope lives here. Give anytime through May 29th at givetolincoln.com.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Summertime is here. It's time to get to Brown's Shoe Fit for their May sandal sale. From now through May 31st, get $15 off all regular price sandals. Whether it's for hiking, for the lake, or just everyday sandals, Brown's has you covered. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your summer off right with the May sandal sale at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln. Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Out here on Nebraska's calm, welcoming waters, fishing is a breeze. It's the sweet spot where solo anglers find quiet before the catch, families reel in memories, and first-timers discover what makes fishing so special. From the Panhandle to the Platte, the best fishing happens here. beneath Nebraska skies. Get started at letsfishnebraska.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
Early break.
One-handed, behind the back, over the shoulder. Oh, yeah.
They're peacocking out there.
Eyes closed like that. High stepping, high knees.
What's that guy doing?
High knees. I saw a guy doing a karaoke down the sidewalk. Guys, it's like, is incredible.
Use it as a microphone.
Yeah. I can do anything. Flip it over, sing into it. Then there's me. I'm like,
with Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, and Bill Bush from 6 to 9 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
Yay. WTF, We Talk Facts. Strick in the building, as well as my boy on the ones and twos, Harrison Arns. But joining us straight out of La La Land, my boy, we came in together in 96, Mavs for life, but he's a champion with the LA Lakers, and we're going to get with him right now, Samaki Walker. Mock Walk, what's going on, my man? You're muted. Unmute yourself. There you go.
There we go. My guy, he's Strick. How you been, my brother?
I'm doing wonderful. Mock Walk out there training young folks, getting them ready. He's got sons and daughters doing it big in the professional ranks. You take a biblical context and you make it live by training them up in the way that they should go, and they won't depart from it. They love hoop just as much as you do. Thank you for joining us tonight on WTF We Talk Facts, my brother.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Mock, look, playoffs is underway. We ain't gonna dig all deep into it because we kind of set the groundwork for it. But we saw what happened on last night. Your boy Haliburton brought back an iconic choke symbol that Reggie Miller threw out back in the day. And it was a lot of commonalities and a lot of similarities in how that went down. It's just that Haliburton wasn't the guy, but Nesmith was the one that went buck wild in that specific instance. How are you viewing this playoff that was set up the way that it is and the lessons that they've learned? And now you find the Knicks down 0-1.
First of all, shout off to playoff basketball. Right. You know, as us being former players, this is the type of basketball that we used to. I think the physicality is back, the drama. The stuff that we grew up watching, and I think that entertain us as pure basketball fans. Now, it's an interesting series. You know, I was one that, me personally, after you look at what the body of work that the Pacers was able to do, you know, at the end of the season, Strick, I mean, I think it showed that they were a team to beat. And if you look from top to bottom, the dynamics of how they constructed, I mean, they kind of have a what you call the prototypical type, you know, team. You got the big, even though the big can step out. Miles Turner, you got the big. You got 3 guards on this team. 3 guards that can actually, you know, handle the ball and actually run the offense and things of that nature. So they're really dynamic. And when you break it down and don't get into just the hype around the teams and everything else, and to go from a pure basketball standpoint, you know, Indiana's a hell of a team to beat. Consider what they do defensively, consider who their coach is and what he embodies. We know Rick Carlisle is that dude, you know, at the helm. And so when you really break down and look behind the scenes and articulate, you know, what they really bring to the table, you know, I'm not surprised at all. These two teams are mirror matches. They both have old school coaches who embody defense, who embody the details. But shout out to Haliburton, Strick. You know, people saying that he's not a superstar. I disagree.
Yeah.
For some reason, we come into this era, not to cut you off, we come in this era where everything now, and you hear guys, you know, on First Take, everybody talking about points now. It seems like in order to be a dog, in order to be that player, you got to be averaging 25. You know as well as I know, it's much more to the game. And this guy, he gets downhill, the way he articulates, runs the offense at his pace. He dictates the game, high IQ. I mean, if you look at that last play, Strick, that he hit, the kid drove all the way into the paint He collapsed the D, drove all the way into the paint, collapsed the D, kicked it back out. I mean, that's a high IQ basketball play in addition to the high level skill.
No doubt. And that's something that I've questioned, Mock, over some of the years, is the IQ of a lot of the cats. I mean, we can go and look down. Like, I'm watching cats play defense and I'm seeing them cross feet and I'm like, man, there's just their fundamentals are not like they used to be. But one of the things that I find interesting, and I spoke to my partner, Harrison Arns, who's in here today, Clester, my other partner, he's in Barcelona flying back. So I appreciate you for filling in for him today. But what happened was I felt, and I'm going to throw this question to you because we've been around a long time. So we've got to see, I think, peak of its existence, and we've got to see some of the adjustments and the changes after Stern had left. I feel as if Silver's missing an opportunity to bring the game back to what you just talked about with the Indiana Pacers, which is team. What you see even with what OKC does after the games. Even though the MVP, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is getting interviewed, the whole team stays with him out there. And I think they're missing that aspect that we used to have, where although you knew the face, you knew Bird, you knew Magic, but there was Kareem, there was Cooper, there was Worthy, there was Scott. Like, although you knew who the face was, it was that team against that other team like Boston. You knew it was Bird, you knew there was a matchup, but you also knew Chief, and you knew Dennis Scott, and you knew Dennis Johnson. Dennis Johnson.
Yep.
Thinking about 3-and-D. You know what I'm talking about? I think that they've missed it. Same thing with Jordan. What does the NBA really need to do with the fading out of LeBron and the fading out of KD and Chris Paul and soon to be Steph Curry?
Yeah. And Strick, you make a good point. And always like to get to the why, and why would the NBA take that route? You know, with this more of a why, what we see and with is as a watered down version. And one of the things that I've come to a conclusion that the impact of technology has changed the game too. You got to think about who now the NBA is marketing to. When we grew up, it was your parents were probably watching TV. They were basketball fans. You were around and watching. And the way cable TV was ran, it ran through the TV. You didn't have a phone and device. Well, because the technology has grown so much and now kids have a device, now have, the casual fan has seemed to become more important than the fan, the pure basketball fan.
Right.
And so the NBA, who's a pure business machine, is always about business. And they're always moving the needle, looking for money. And growing the business the way they're growing it comes with a price. And they feel as if this new basketball fan doesn't have the attention span or the attention span to learn the game the way we did. And they also understand that if you have a kid, more than likely you're going to bug it out of your parents to get the package anyway. So if you market to the kid, more likely you're still going to end up, being able to bring in the customer who you're looking for. And so I think with that aspect of it, the NBA has thought business first by all means, and the game has expanded doing so. So you got to give Adam Silver that credit. I think we're in a time where we have the opportunity to find balance. I will admit, Strick, I like the fact that the physicality came back during the playoffs. So it does shows that Adam Silver is trying to find some balance. I think he's hearing the noise out there. And I want to give him some time to see what he does over this next season. Will this physicality be allowed to, because here's the narrative and analytics as well. All told us, the running gun and style game, the jacking the threes, things of that nature was more exciting. I disagree. And we disagreed in the beginning. Us pure basketball fans seen that in the beginning, right? And so what you have now is this more European style game. I think now is developed to bring in more of the foreign type players. I think the physicality, in my personal opinion, from that old school game was a very tough game for them to adapt to. You know this.
Yeah.
The European players always been highly skilled and fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
This is nothing new. But when you're expanding the game and you talking about the physical big men that played back in our day, that was the threat. That's what, really impacted the game. And so now what the NBA has done is to make the game global. You take out the big man now, you're taking out the pure point guard. Now you got this style of play which I like. Anybody can score the ball, but even as you created this style, you're putting the ball in one person's hand. Everybody's going back to your point about the Pacers now. They're a team that are a threat because they're not doing it that way. They're old school, and they have a pure point guard who's the face of the team, by the way. But at the same time, on any given night, other players can step up and be the lead for that particular game. And I'm hearing others say because of this kid Haliburton is not a star because he's not consistently averaged 25, 27 a night. Again, I disagree. But to your point with David Stern, Adam Silver, I think we got to give him some time to see. I am impressed with the moves as of recently. The All-Star game and things of that nature. And we got to understand, too, that, the LeBron era helped usher in some of these changes and things, that we've seen.
Yeah.
And so it's up to Adam Silver now to see if the analytics behind this season, especially after the physicality, intensity, the lower scoring games, but more drama, is that what the fans really looking for? Or is it just a run and gun style, no physicality, where you can the game seems more simulated?
Okay. So I'm gonna throw a couple things at you because it's kind of a cultural discussion at this point. And, we know that Kid Cudi has testified in the Diddy trial.
Right.
Because I think there's some circumventing issues I think that we can touch on that just surrounds it, that we don't have to dig into specifics of what's going on.
Right.
Here's a couple of things that I'm going to throw at you, because I think as we look at our culture, right?
Yep.
Not anybody else's. I think if we look at our culture,
yep.
In our community, there's a thought out there that snitches get stitches.
Right.
So that's been something that's been consistent. So you have a situation now where Kid Cudi is testifying, he's giving the information, and some would look down upon him for that specific instance. So is he, in your thoughts, is he being a snitch or is he just being a civilian? But my then other question, and I'm going to let you answer and then we'll go to break, is why in our community that if we see something that we it's considered a negative to be able to help, even though it may hurt another person, but it may help the family of those who have maybe lost a loved one and whatnot. So what's your thought about why that is in our community? Why that's an issue in our community?
That's a good topic, Strick, and you're asking a hell of a question. As you know, in our community, I think we have some deep-seated root trauma it's multifaceted, and I wouldn't dare try to tackle all of it in a segment of 15 minutes, but I will say that, early on, the not snitching was, it's evolved. When you start from the people I speak to, I know people in the streets, I know people in the streets, and things of that nature. The not snitching was more of a code in where in the streets where guys were doing things that were actually helping the benefit, but may not have been necessarily just legal at the time. But we all in on it. We all in on it. So, let's keep it hush hush. And I think that because of the system, now let's be clear, African Americans have now been a huge part of the fabric of American. They have more opportunities than when we had. But there was a time where trying to be structurally trying to move up in the system was very hard, and so the streets was the opportunity, right? The streets was the opportunity, and so with that came codes, and so those codes were the thing that kept the streets thriving. Yeah, and if anything is work, you got to have codes, and so there was, I think, some structure trying to be built within those dynamics, but it's evolved. It's evolved, Strick. That's not it. That's not Zach. That's not it anymore.
And it's too deep of a topic, Mark, to really dig into. I just wanted your surface level opinion, and we may be able to, because this is going to be a long thing. So we definitely want to have you back, man. You family. So this is something that I think we still gonna be talking about. I think we'll dig deeper and make it a topical thing at some point. But I did want to get your perspective on it. I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. But it's that's crazy, man. But it's going to be interesting to see where this whole thing goes. As far as I believe in. But let me answer your question though. As far as, do I feel like he's a snitch? No, I don't. I feel like in this time that you have to be able to protect you and yours. Yeah. And I think that he's in every right to be able to do such. Yeah. There's a difference from a guy playing in a game and just coming out telling on everybody.
That's a fact.
This guy was attacked.
Right.
His livelihood was impacted because of somebody else's decision. And I think that we try to throw all the scenarios under the snitching label. You can't do that.
That's a good. There you go, my boy. See, that's why I had to have Mark. We're gonna have to take a quick break. We're gonna come back with perspective. We probably only got one good question for you on the OG perspective, but you are an OG in the game. We'll be right back. 937 The Ticket.
Yes, sir.
Rain, shine. John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly, no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air,
and Electrical.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red.
Graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Cobble Chevrolet GMC, and they're having the biggest hail sale they've ever had. A huge opportunity is at your front door right now. Some of these cars we're fixing, some we're not, and some it's totally up to you. New Sierra starting at $15,000 off list. New Canyons at $8,500 off list. New body styles on the Acadias, $3,000 off list. You need to hurry as there's going to be a lot of people heading to Louisville. Check us out at cobblecars.com. Stock numbers G121492, G187747, and G196599.
Hey guys, it's AD. Join us on Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. for The Drive at A1 Automotive's brand new location at 5110 State Hill Drive, just off of Yankee Hill in South Lincoln. We'll be on ahead of the grand opening, which goes from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., which will have giveaways, free food, and tours. We'll see you on Friday at the brand new A1 Automotive.
Keep summer green with Judson Baleen and Judson Irrigation.
More than 40 years ago, Judson Irrigation started taking in orphans. Lawn sprinkler systems installed by a quickie, cheapy summer job, install 'em and forget 'em outfit long forgotten. Call Judson Irrigation. They'll never forget you.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
Final segment here on WTF, We Talk Facts. My man, Samaki Walker, joining us straight out of L.A. My boy, my partner, Clester Johnson, Sibo, the bald-head nut, said, tell Samaki. I said where to hold it down for the East Strick. He saluted you, Sibo. He just landed in Chicago coming out of Barcelona, so travels home, my brother. We got the OG perspective, and we have an OG in the house in my friend Samaki Walker. OG perspective on this. Samaki.
Yes, sir.
What coach had the greatest impact on the outcome of your sports career, and why? Give your OG perspective.
I said, wow. Strick, I played for some great coaches. Throughout my basketball career,
yeah.
I played for Denny Crum in college, who, was an amazing coach.
R.I.P. Denny Crum.
R.I.P. Denny. As you know, we played with a great coach in Don Nelson.
For sure.
Who gave you an opportunity to, and who could see talent, who could develop. One of the best, who's probably one of the best developers I ran across in my career. I would have to say Greg Popovich.
Wow. Love it. Why?
Greg Popovich was the balance of, he was the balance between Don Nelson and Phil Jackson.
Wow.
He had the ability to go zen, and meaning to have that philosophy, knew how to tap into players' egos, which we know is really important when it comes to really being able to get players, to reach their peak. And he was good at that. He was also good at the X's and O's. Where you knew Don Nelson was really good at drawing up the X's and O's. Don could put you in a position, right? Don Nelson could do more with less.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Don could do more, even though if we didn't have any big name players, the teams were always going to be competitive because he knew how to move chess pieces around, right?
Well said.
And so Popovich, in my opinion, was the balance, the great balance, a mix between both of those guys. And Strick, he was also, for me, he helped me because he would come to talk to me personally about, personal things that was going on, personal challenges as well. You never felt like he was bigger than you. Even though he was Greg Popovich, he was able to come down on the level where you were and communicate with as a man. And I thought that was very important. And at the same time, Popovich probably did the most important thing that taught me and humbled me in my career, and that was release me. And that woke me up. And this is after we had a good talk as a man. It wasn't just he released me and it was, okay, I'm done with you. It was one of those things where I was wilding out. I was out riding motorcycles, summer, doing all kinds of stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing other than basketball. And so with that being said, it was him. It was the tough love that made me have some go home that summer, no contract, and had to do the tough thinking and had to put some things in perspective. And that prepared me for the Lakers and everything beyond. So I give credit to Greg Popovich for possibly helping me save my career with tough love.
Love it. Love it. There it is. The OG perspective from the OG himself, Samaki Walker. Mark Walk, we got to do it again, my boy. I'm gonna tap in and send you something, my boy, for doing this, man, out of the love. I know
man, anytime.
But
anytime.
Yeah, we definitely want to welcome you back, man. Always interesting discussion. It's always good to see you doing well. And the love for your children and the wonderful work that they're doing as they're following the legacy of their dad. And not necessarily in your footsteps, but in their own track.
Absolutely.
You paved the way for them to be able to do it with professionalism. Shout out to Samaki Walker for joining us. Clester, safe travels as you make it home. It's right here every Thursday, 6 to 7, WTF We Talk Facts. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Saturday,